Alright everybody, hello and welcome. As always, I am Sean. This is In The Mixer as we continue our Hashtag United series in Football Manager 2019. Since the last episode, we have played quite a few games because we made it through a couple of cup competitions. Of course, last episode played against Three Bridges, that 1-1 draw, which was kind of a missed opportunity, missing that penalty as well. And then our fantastic 2-0 win over Hurringabara, the first victory in the Coles Park Stadium derby. We then followed that up, continuing using that cautious mentality and tactic that we were using against in that cup competition. We drew 1-1 with Horsham, and then we had back-to-back 1-1 draws with Glossop in the next round of the FA Trophy, the first qualifying round. So it's a good formation, it's a good shape. I would recommend it, but I think the biggest thing that I learnt was that when we had this home game against them, we really should have been a bit more positive. We were the better side, but because we were so conservative in our play, we just invited kind of pressure onto us a little bit, and that's how they eventually got their equaliser through Fabio Tavares. And because I was too reluctant to move away from it, we didn't go on and get that winning goal in the second half. We eventually got through in penalties in the second leg after another 1-1 draw, and it was Andy Cade Watts, our goalkeeper, that scored the winning penalty, which was absolutely fantastic. We then kind of decided that we were going to move back to our positive structure, thumped Herne Bay 4-1. I then returned to the cautious structure for the away game against Pagham. They had a man sent off in the 46th minute. We then went to our positive structure and we went through and won that game convincingly. Tashi Richmond and Daniel Adji with the double off the bench, getting us the result there. And then Stourbridge, same thing again, went back to our positive mentality. Went 4 goals up inside an hour, or on 62 minutes to be fair. Tashi Richmond with a phenomenal hat-trick. Armando Shashua with a goal as well. They pulled 2 back late on after we made all our subs and stuff, but a very good performance. And I think that's what I need to get better at. I think that's when I need to switch on my tactical genius. And when we're away from home, let's adopt this cautious mentality and play on the counter a little bit more. And then when we're playing at home, like we will in the second game against Guernsey, let's be a bit more positive. Let's try and control the play. Let's play shorter possession passing. Because we play at Coles Park, which is a synthetic pitch, it shouldn't be impacted as much by us playing a shorter passing game. Whereas if we're playing away from home and trying to play a short passing game on a patch of mud or a square rectangular pitch or a square pitch, we may struggle to actually get results that way. And I think that's what we've kind of seen in a lot of the away games and away performances you see up here, where we haven't done as well as we potentially should have. So that's how we're going to apply it going forward. I think this episode will kind of be a barometer for how it's going to go. If we're successful with both, then fantastic. We know what the plan is for the rest of the season. If not, we will kind of get back to the drawing board. I have changed one other thing. I've actually moved Scott Pollock to be a Mazzala on support. It is his favourite role. As we get further and further through the series and get more and more talented players, we will start letting them play within their preferred role in a formation. And I think his development as a central midfielder with defend wasn't coming along as quickly as I'd hoped, and it also meant that his growth and his ability to fulfill his 5-star potential was kind of being limited as well. So we've moved him into that role, and hopefully that means we can start getting a couple more high-quality performances out of him. But if it's not working, we just switch him back to a central midfield defend. It's gotten us this far in the series, about 2.5 seasons in, or 2 seasons in, and then a little bit. So we do have that to fall back on if we need to. So I think when we came back last time, Greenwich Borough were sitting 6th in the division, and Guernsey was sitting on top. It is still, early days. Guernsey do still have a game in hand, which I think is the one that we'll play midweek. They could get back equal points with Sittingbourne on top. We're sitting in 5th, 7 points off top spot, but with a game in hand, if we win today, it'll only be 4 points, and we play Sittingbourne in a couple of weeks as well. But you can see little gaps starting to open up. The top 7 are kind of pulling away from that middle 7. Greenwich Borough is a part of that. We want to get past them today so that we can continue building. We can continue in the playoff positions and hopefully prep ourselves for a run in January towards top spot. But enough talking from me. Let's jump straight into the game now. All right, I've accidentally gone past the lineups, but we'll just quickly do the team talk here, and we'll do what we did for the previous episode as well. Come on, lads, show me what you can do to keep our run going. We haven't lost in a good few weeks, but there's been a lot of draws in there, so we haven't been winning quite as many as we want. Looking at our lineup here, Cade Watts, of course, in goal. Gleed and George as the fullbacks. Stamp and Singano as our central defensive partnership. Hursett and Pollock in midfield. Shashura at the 10. Morley on the left wing. Adams on the right. Richmond up top. Harry Honesty has been our player of the season, leading the team in both goals and assists, but he picked up a knock in the last game. I don't want to rush him. I'd rather he was available for the Guernsey match than we tried to force him back in time for this game. And I've got faith in Morley and Adams to do a job for us today. Looking at the Greenwich Borough team, Steggles in goal, Brown and King Elliott as the fullbacks, McAteer and Noakes as their central defensive partnership. Turley and Stanley are going to anchor midfield. Eaton Collins at the 10, Wilson on the left, Clark on the right, and Hall up top. So a very similar formation structure to ours, albeit I think with defensive midfielders instead of two central midfielders there. Here we go, free kick to Taché Richmond towards back stick. It's hit the deck. Adams gets it forward, and I think it's Lee Hurst that pokes it home in the end. Pinballed around there for a second. The keeper dove the wrong way. His 4th goal of the season. I'm sure the other 3 are probably all from the penalty spot. But a lovely ball in here from Taché Richmond. I think it's Morley that goes up initially, and then Adams has the strike, and Hurst, once the ball hits the deck, slides into it and pokes it home. But I'll take it. Any goal's a good goal as far as I'm concerned. Long ball forward now. Hurst should tidy up. Comes to Shashua now, who's back for Ross Gleed. Humphrey also has a bit of a knock, I forgot to mention. Shashua out wide now to Morley. He's done well to keep the ball in. Back to Shashua. There's a man at the top of the box if he can find him. And Scott Pollock, can he find the strike? It's not a bad effort, just wide of the left-hand corner. And we might see him getting a little bit further forward in that Mazzala role. It is one that looks for half spaces between the lines, but it's more lateral movement than forward movement, I think. Or I might have that confused with the Carriero. Maybe the Carriero is lateral movement instead of forward movement, but either way, good to see him getting a little bit further forward. Clark now with the ball. It's a long one forward. Andy Cade Watt should tidy up without any big dramas. Hopefully a defender will come short for him. Otherwise he's going to go long. They're playing a very compact shape without the ball, similar to what we do. Hurst wins a good header. Gleed played forward to Morley. Morley inside to Taché Richmond. Takes a great touch. Gets his strike away. His 10th goal of the season. He did get a hat-trick in the last game. And prior to that, he was really struggling to find goals. But I'm hoping that now that he's gotten kind of, he's broken his duck a little bit, he'll push on a lot further and kind of get to be that 20-goal season striker that he was for us last season. Great assist from Charlie Morley. Just does what he's supposed to do when he's playing on that left-hand side. Cuts inside, finds a decent pass with his right foot. And it sees us move up into 4th position. We won't catch Guernsey today, even though they're not playing, but anything we can do in terms of improving our goal difference is absolutely massive. You can see Hythe Town have scored 29 goals for a plus 15 goal difference. We have the second best defence in the league, and that's why we have a plus 13 goal difference. But if we can kind of get a couple more goals, push level with them in terms of goal difference, take that away from being a massive factor in the league, it all goes a very long way, especially over the course of an entire season. Cade Watts with a goal kick forward now. Taché Richmond should challenge. McAteer wins the header without any dramas. George with a decent crossfield switch. Charlie Morley with a fantastic touch, and he gets the strike away, but Steggles is eagle to it. Egan to it? What am I trying to say? Equal to it. And that's a horrendous corner there from Charlie. He's put that one out for a throw on the far side. My brain done broke. Don't worry about it. Just let it go. If I fall off the side of the screen, call an adult. Corner now taken by Stanley. It's a near post header. Joe Noakes. Looked like something out of FIFA. Just a little glitchy ball to the front stick. And we should have a man on that front post. I think it's our left back, Ross Gleed. But he just comes off, and Cade Watts actually gets something on it, but he can only push it into the back of the net. So 2-1. After a very bright start, we've let them back in here just by slipping up from a set piece. Here we go. Taché Richmond from the free kick again. Deep one towards Singano. Gets the header in, falls to Shashua. He finds a great strike for his 4th goal of the season. Just absolutely leathered that to the right-hand side of the goal as Steggles was pedalling back onto his line. And the keeper did get something to it, but again, similar to the Andy Cade Watts save, he couldn't get it down. It's a great touch here from Shashua. Just finds his spot and leathers it. Steggles maybe could have done better, but I'm going to take it, and we restore our 2-goal advantage in this match. We've got an immediate highlight as well. Remains to be seen if we're going to win the ball back or if this is going to be 1-4 Greenwich Borough. Turley comes forward now, played out left to Brown. Brown with a long ball over the top. George heads it. Hurst will recover. Forward now to Adams. Can we find a counter-attack here? Ball to Shashua. He's got men around him. He just needs to play a short pass, and he does now to Scott Pollock. Pollock inside to Adams, to Shashua. Nice little triangles that they're playing here. Ball forward. One back by Taché Richmond, and he gets the strike away. It's hit the crossbar before Noakes scrambles it clear. Clark coming forward now. Is this the end of the highlight? Skips past the challenge of Lee Hurst, but Lee Hurst, good recovery run, puts that one out for a throw, and the highlight comes to an end. So that is something we need to keep an eye out. How is Scott Pollock's positioning on the pitch going to change as his role has changed this Mazzala? Clark now with a throw-in for Greenwich. Played back to Stanley, to Turnley at the top of the box. Thankfully, Singano stood out and went to close him down. It's a deep ball across. Wilson should tidy up. Plays it back to Brown. Gets a ball in towards Hall, and thankfully his header is just over the bar. But that recovery, getting back into our shape, into our 4 and 2, it is a bit slow at times, particularly on that second ball. And I think that's kind of the difference we're seeing between the last 2 divisions we've played in and this step up to Bostik, to the Bostik levels of the game, is that second transitions happen a lot quicker than they did in previous versions. Here we go, Brown with a free kick. He's gone for goal. Cade Watts with a good save and gets out well to catch the rebound. 2 minutes to be added on and we're through it now, so the referee's called half time. 14 shots, 4 on target, 52% of the ball. 7 shots, 3 on target, 48% for Greenwich Borough. So they've not been entirely out of it. We have seen a few highlights for them. I'm just going to calmly tell everyone, very pleased with the performance. Keep it going, lads. No need to complicate stuff any further than that. And away we go for the second half. As always, we'll give it another 15 minutes and then we'll look at making a couple of subs. There are a few players I'd like to get out there from the bench today, particularly if we're winning the game, with one eye on that Guernsey game midweek. Richmond now, the free kick from distance. He's going to strike directly, and that is a phenomenal goal. Holy shit. I think they've given it to Steggles as an own goal, but Richmond just absolutely leathered that one into the base of the post. I don't know if it was crossing the line. Oh, it was probably coming back out. So, yeah, I guess an own goal is fair, but give that one credit to Taché and Richmond. Does he get an assist for that? No, he doesn't even get the assist for it, which is a shame. But a phenomenal strike to hit the base of the post from that distance. One more goal. Do we have one more in us? Then we get to a plus 15 goal difference, which would pull us level on goal difference with Hyde Town, albeit a point behind them. But, I mean, if we win that game against Guernsey as well, we will have the highest goal differential of any team in the division. And after 2 years of just absolutely smashing teams and having the fewest goals conceded and highest goals scored, it's you take it for granted a little bit how important it is to have good structures in place and to have leading assists and statistics and whatever else. Right, so we're going to make our 3 subs. Ricky Evans will come on for Lee Hursett. Charlie Morley will have a rest, and Theo Baker coming on for a rare appearance. Taché and Richmond will come off, and Daniel Adji will come up top. Purely looking towards the Guernsey game, just trying to keep some fitness in everybody's legs. It's only 3 games till that match. We will probably still have a rest day, but if we can kind of keep and manage everybody's form and fitness, then I think we'll be in good stead to get maximum points from this episode, which I don't think we've had since the first episode of Season 3. Oh no, the first league games of Season 3, where we won against VCD and whoever the other team was. Speaking of, because I always forget to look, East Grinstead, who actually beat us 2-1, and VCD Athletic are currently propping up the rest of the league. So East Grinstead, their one win there was against us 2-1, the third game of the season. And if we had won that game, I think we'd be sitting second or third or first in the league. We've got a couple more minutes remaining. I'm just going to use Demand More. It consistently works. They've had pretty poor shouts from the sideline. They all seem disinterested, which is fantastic for us. Actually, when you look up here, we've beaten a lot of the top sides. We beat Hythe. We lost to Sittingbourne. We beat Pagan. We're beating Greenwich. We beat Herne Bay. We beat Hartley Wintney. It's the teams down the bottom where we've kind of had disappointing results. Lost to East Grinstead. Drew with 3 Bridges. Drew with Wingate and Finchley, I think it was. No, drew with Horsham. Those are teams that we need to be beating. But at least it puts us in good stead. We've still got a whole other half of the season to go. And in that time, we should be able to strengthen the squad, get a little bit more settled in our structures and in our lineups, and beat pretty much everybody in the second half of the season. If we can be within touching distance at the halfway point, I think we're in good stead. Highlight here, McAteer to take, plays the long ball forward towards Guildforder, who again puts the long ball forward towards Hall. Just need to stand him up. Comes back out to Wilson now to Guildford again. He hangs the ball towards back stick, but Marcus Stamp's going to get it away with ease. Long clearance by Baker, not to anybody in particular. Brown forward to Ramadan. Out to Knowles. Brown. Again, Theo Baker closed it down very well. The ball should come to Daniel Adji in the channel. He just needs to hold it up and bring people into play. Finds Scott Pollock now. He's got to run it through the middle if he can find him. He holds the ball too long though. I think it was not Lee Hursett, but it might have been Shashua who was just walking through unmarked in the middle. He just had to play a pass through for him. Disappointing, but it is what it is. 3 minutes to be added on here. It's been a good performance. Like that back 5, and Cade Watts, Brian George, Singano, Stamp, Gleed, all playing very, very well. Shashua's had a good game. Hursett, Morley and Richmond all played very well before they came off. The subs haven't done too much since they came on, but that's absolutely fine. And I'd be honest, I'm happy with the referee blows the whistle at any point. If we can get through this game without picking up any suspensions or injuries or anything like that. We've got a couple of people on yellow card warnings. Stamp gets the ball away, and the referee calls full time. A very good performance, a 4-1 win against Greenwich. We're finally starting to find some form in this series, which is great to see. 18 shots, 4 on target, 52% of the ball. They had 10 shots, 3 on target, 48%. Those margins are getting closer and closer every game we play. No need to overcomplicate stuff here. A good win, boys. Well done. And everyone responds very positively to that. Just keeping these morale up in those green boxes. So we move up into 4th spot outright on 24 points. Still 4 points behind Sittingbourne in top spot. Quality possession provides victory. I guess that's fair. And our match with Guernsey's been rearranged. Okay, why is that? Okay, it's only been pushed back a couple of days to the next Wednesday because they've got FA Trophy rematch against Boston United. So magic of editing, we're going to jump ahead to that game now. Did I remember to offer Matt Carter a trial? Did I just forget to do that? As is tradition, we're going to offer Matt Carter a trial. And you'll notice there's another name here, Christian Sadie. We looked at him, we scouted him, he looks absolute quality. He's on a non-contract at Bromley, a couple of divisions above us. The minute we started actually scouting him and looking at him, Tash and Richmond started scoring again. So I don't know if the two are related, it might just be a coincidence, but at least he's keeping Tash and Richmond on his toes, and he'd be a young target man with really good physical attributes here that we could bring in to try and find us some goals if they do dry up in the second half of the season. But again, minus 777 wage budget, we need to kind of start resolving some of that issue as well. Anyway, magic of editing, let's jump ahead to the Guernsey game now. All right, and just like that, we are a week ahead. Now, how did they do in their midweek fixture that got rescheduled? They still haven't played it, so we are now 1 game behind Hythetown and Sittingbourne. We can leapfrog Hythetown if we get a victory in this game and Guernsey at the same time, though they will still have a game in hand on us. Sittingbourne are just tearing through teams at the moment though. Alright, so you can see we're in excellent form, 4 straight wins and a draw prior to that. They're relatively inconsistent at the moment. We are favourites for this game. We have switched to our positive mentality, have we? I'm pretty sure I did. We have, yes. We're in our positive shape. Only 2 changes to speak of. Humphrey will come back in for Gleed at left back, given that he's now fit again. Harry Honesty will come in, of course, on the left-hand side. Ryan Adams will drop to the bench. Theo Baker out of the squad. Morley will move back to the right. And Guernsey. Now, I quite like Guernsey's story. For those of you who aren't geographically familiar, it is an island in between England and France. I think it's actually closer to France geographically, but it is an English I want to say principality, but I don't think that's right. And I don't want to say colony because I don't think that's right either. But it's English land, essentially. Their club started up or was reborn in the last few years. Matt Letitia, the ex-Southampton great, is from Guernsey. He was the inaugural and I think lifetime president of the club, even though it doesn't have much to do with the running of the club day to day. He actually came out of retirement to play for them in his 40s when they first got started. They had a crazy scheduling conflict because they're out on an island where I think in their first season they played all of their away games first, and then they had like a 6-week period where all the teams came and played them at home, and then they had a whole bunch of other fixtures that were played at neutral venues because their home ground wasn't available or the travel didn't work for the right periods or whatever else. So a really tough one to schedule, really tough one I think to get players across to, but they do very well to be at a Bostic South East level. They've got a decent side as well. Tim's in goal. Griffiths and Courtney as their fullbacks. Rennie, who looks like an ex-Bristol Rovers junior, is their captain. Will play alongside Brennan at centre of defence. They've got Davis, an ex-Bournemouth junior. Ryan Lane, who's ex-Plymouth Argyle. Clint Morrison on the left wing. Louis Nyman, who's been about the place at a Vanarama South level before in saves I've done. Johnston at the 10 and Stanley up top, who is the leading scorer for the division and their star player so far this season. 13 goals in 17 games so far this season, very impressive. We are just going to assertively tell everyone, go out there and carry straight on from where you finished the last match. Everyone's responded positively to that. We're going out here with our more positive formation and shape. I'm hoping we can put on a decent performance in this game in front of the Coles Park faithful. Throw in here to Nyman to take on the right-hand side. Well, one back by Lee Hurst. Oh, Lee Hurst's given away a penalty. He's gone through his man right on the edge of the area. And they're going to have a penalty here. Is it Davis to take? Is that the number 6? It is. Or, you know what? Andy Cade Watts guessed the right way. But Charlie Davis gets his 4th goal of the season. Not the start we wanted after 5 minutes. But at least we're positive already. We don't have to make a transition from cautious or anything like that. But a stupid challenge from Lee Hurst. And you know what? If Andy Cade Watts had been a split second quicker going that way, he did guess the right way, he would have gotten to that. We've got a corner here, Shashua to take. Puts it back stick. Courtney will head away without really anybody challenging. Harry Honesty with the ball though now. Hangs one up towards Charlie Morley and he gets his header on target for his 7th goal of the season. that Charlie Morley, Harry Honesty connection, either one is assisting the other or the other way around. It has provided most of our goals for us so far this season. Honesty, lovely pass here, just cuts back inside, plays the ball behind the defender. Morley gets in front of his man, gets the header into the corner. Timms maybe could have dove for it instead of trying to move across, but I'm going to take it, and we equalise relatively quickly just to settle the nerves. Sees us move back up to third position ahead of Hythe Town. We've got a highlight here. Richmond's going to take a ball from deep. Morley again hits the post. It's hit the deck, and they just took it away. Scott Pollock was in the area. I was about to use a shout and demand more because it just consistency. Shashua with the corner now. It was towards Singano in the middle. It's going to come back out to Shashua again if he can get the ball in. Goes back to Singano, to Pollock. Can square it up. Hurst's at the top of the box. Can he get a strike away? Or he could have looked for Harry Honesty there. Shashua just needs to hang it up back stick. Morley to Honesty. Can we get it back across? Courtney hooks the ball away in the end. Scrambling defence there from Guernsey. So we are putting some pressure on him, which is good to see. I'm going to demand even more though. Because again, I do it every episode. I do it pretty much every game. It just works so consistently. They'll get focused. See, all of them focused. Why would you use anything else if you've got that up your sleeve? You can only really use it twice though. You use it a third time, no one cares. Highlight here, Morley to take the corner towards Stamp. Oh, he gets his header there, looking for the far post, but just wide. The keeper was scrambling across. Timms might have got to it, even if it was on target. Highlight again here, George take a throw in on the right-hand side. Shashua inside to Morley. Back to Shashua again, playing in his free role. He tries to force a ball that was never really on. Johnston with the ball now. Switches out to Nyman, wide right side. Someone needs to step to him. I'm looking at you, Tom Humphrey. Hurst makes it a great run and challenge. Plays it forward now to Honesty, who's got space to burst into. He's taking it on now. Finds Tashan Richmond. Reverse pass to Shashua again. Can he find the finish? It's a poor finish, or is it a great save from Timms? We'll never know because we won't see a replay. Shashua's going to take the corner now. Deep one across. Tashan Richmond's in the area. Puts it back across. Comes to Brennan, to Harry Honesty. He gets his strike away, but it is not very good. I think it deflected and then hit him again and went out for a goal kick. We are piling on the pressure here, though. Great to see. Let's not forget Guernsey are a good side. Tashan Richmond now with a free kick. Oh, he's gotten it on target, falls to Hurst, and he gets a strike away. The 5th goal of the season for Lee Hurst. The linesman is running away, which makes you think he's onside. He's delighted with that one. He's put it high into the top corner, I'm pretty sure. Didn't have much to aim at. It's a great strike here from Tashan Richmond, and to be fair to the keeper, an even better save. Hurst, though, once he gets back up, just puts it up in that top corner where he can't get to. 5th goal of the season for Lee. We've seen him score twice now from open play. The other 3, I'm sure, are from penalties throughout the course of the year. And that pushes us up into 2nd spot, only 4 points behind Sittingbourne. All right, we're into the final 5 minutes now. It has been pretty dominant in terms of highlights for us since they scored. We haven't seen much since the penalty in the 5th minute. But what I desperately would love is to get one more goal before half-time, just to give us that 2-goal margin. We've got a highlight here. Singano to take, played forward to Pollock, into Shashua. He comes forward, beats one, goes to Morley now. Morley cuts inside, hits it on his not favoured left foot, and it's straight at Timms, who does very well. He's having a good game, is the Guernsey goalkeeper. Long ball forward now. Stamp heads it to Pollock, who plays Hurst. Is there going to be more to the highlight here? Humphrey inside to Shashua, to Honesty. Lovely one-touch football there. Shashua's square again. Instead he goes to Tashan Richmond, who goes forward and plays his 11th goal of the season, puts that one high into the far post. That is fantastic transitional play there. Just one-touch passing from the back. Humphrey to Shashua to Honesty, drives into space, and just when you think he might pull the trigger, he releases for Tashan Richmond, who, to be honest, could have squared it up for Charlie Morley, but instead pokes home on his left peg. And we go 3-1 up. Thank God Tashan Richmond has finally started scoring goals for us. It was that one piece of the puzzle that was missing at the start of the season. So we've gotten into half-time, 4 goals in a half. That is absolutely phenomenal. I'm not sure if we saw the last of that 3-dimensional highlight for Harry Honesty's second goal there, but what a ball from Armando Shashua. That was fantastic. I don't know what's going on here. It's like glitched out and I can't do a team talk. Let's just say end team talk. Disappointing. Not sure why that didn't work. Okay, it's glitching out or something, but dressing room again. Are we going to now be able to do a team talk? Let's go end team talk again. It's all it'll let me do. Start second half. Is that going to work? That was real weird. I did 2 team talks, but it wouldn't let me say anything. Alright, so are we going to see more highlights here in the second half? Do we need to switch to a cautious mentality as they start attacking and trying to chase the game? As far as I'm concerned, the front 6 front five, Hersett, Morley, Shashua, Honesty and Richmond are all playing out of their skin. Considering Hersett gave away a penalty in the opening 5 minutes, for him to have a 7.4 is fantastic. If it's not broke, why bother fixing it? We're asking them a question at the moment that they aren't able to handle. Somehow, Tim's in the Guernsey goal is only on a 6.5 match rating. He's been absolutely fantastic from what we've seen in highlights. I'm reluctant to even make subs here, to be completely honest. We're an hour in, but I think I'm just going to leave them and wait and see whose condition drops off the most or who picks up yellow cards. I'm still going to demand more because I'd like us to put the foot down and get a couple extra goals here, but if you had offered me 4-1 before the game in a second versus third match for us to go second in the division, I would have absolutely taken it. They do still have a game in hand, which they might win and go back above us again, but our goal difference is plus 17 to their plus 2, and I think if you're looking at the way they're playing in this game, they might be struggling to maintain the same form that they had in the early part of the season, and maybe we'll see them drop off a little bit. Would actually like to go and see what their league schedule's like, and if they are playing a bunch of away games in a row and then a bunch of home games, and if that kind of correlates with their different form swings. But there will be a trip for... here we go. Tashane Richmond to take. It's a ball towards Scott Pollock at the back. He gets his header towards goal, but it's never really on target and doesn't trouble the keeper. We do have a trip to the island later on this season. A bit of an away trip, which will be great for the lads. Everybody loves a football away day. Courtney now will play a ball forward. It's not to anyone in particular. Stamp will tidy up. It's with Humphrey now. Looks for a crossfield switch that Richmond should get to first. He's got a man inside him, Morley. Can he find the finish? What a goal that is. Firstly, what a crossfield switch from Tom Humphrey. 8th goal of the season for Charlie Morley. He's taken his game to another level since we've stepped up this division in terms of adding goals. Look, it's not the prettiest football in the world, but Tashane Richmond is a willing runner, and that is a lovely reverse pass inside. And Charlie Morley says thank you very much and puts that one into the back of the net. One more goal, and we're the leading scorers in the division. If we can get that, look, I shouldn't complain. We're 5-1 up against the team currently in 4th, but one of the top few teams in the division itself. I shouldn't complain about anything. And I also think this is massive vindication for our use of the cautious away and positive at home approach. I think if we can continue balancing that and changing it up each game, one, we're going to be really hard to scout because we'll be changing mentalities all the time, and two, it's going to give us a bit more tactical flexibility as we get up through the other divisions as well. Tashane Richmond now from the free kick. He's got it on target. He's hit the post. It's fallen to Charlie Morley. Is he onside though? 9th goal of the season for him. Morley's got a hat-trick, which is phenomenal. And the referee is moving back to the centre circle, which makes me think he's onside. Tashane Richmond again from a free kick situation hits the post, and Charlie Morley, fox in the box that he's been all day, his 9th goal of the season with the hat-trick today. And what more could I ask for? 6-1 we're currently up. I don't think we're going to go to 7. But what a collection of performances we're putting together this season, despite jumping up to our highest ever division of football. I thought we might struggle a little bit this year, given our start, and that the game against Haringey Borough would be the highlight game of our season. But some of the performances we're putting together against the other teams around the playoff positions have been absolutely fantastic. We're into the last 10 minutes now. Farai Singano's picked up a yellow card. I'm not running the risk of anything, so Jamal Hakeem will come on. And looking at everybody's fitness at the moment, Shashua's only on 70%. We need him for the rest of the season, so we'll bring on Ryan Adams as well. And we'll see if everybody else can make it through to the end of the game. It'll be Charlie Morley that gets all the plaudits for his performance here. 3 goals and a 9.6, but to see Harry Honesty on a 9.2, 1 goal and 2 assists, and Tashane Richmond, who struggled for so much of the early part of this season on a 9.4, a goal and 2 assists to his name is fantastic. Lee Hersett, I'm not sure if the Hersett-Pollock dynamic has changed a little bit. Maybe now that Pollock's playing as Mazzala, Hersett has a little bit more freedom to move and be a pivot at the base of midfield, and that's why his output is increasing quite a bit. We've got another highlight here. It's Courtney to take. Nyman on the right-hand side. Gets a ball in, but Adams does very well to make a recovery run. Comes forward now. He's lost the ball to Nyman, but wins it back immediately. Honesty comes forward. He's got space to attack. No one's stepping to him. Releases the ball for Morley. Morley gets a strike away. It would have been 4 for him, but he screws it just wide of the far post. 2 minutes to be added on by the referee. I don't mind if he calls it. We've got another highlight coming, which is ridiculous. Timms takes a goal kick. Humphrey can bring it down, and does. Nyman comes forward and wins it back. It's a good run here. Square ball to Stanley, and strike from distance from Alfie Stanley, the 14th goal of his season, showing his quality after doing very little throughout the game. Makes it 6-2. Just a mistake there from Humphrey, a poor touch. He really could have just put it into Rosette. I wouldn't have minded. and Nyman drags the defender, and it's a good finish from Stanley, to be fair. Andy Cade Watts got to it but couldn't get enough on it to push it around the post. Look, it's nothing to be upset about. They're not going to come back and score, famous last words, but they're not going to come back and score 4 in 2 minutes of extra time. Surely not. Timms now should take the last kick of the game. He does. He had a really good game, to be fair to him. But what a performance that is. 28 shots, 12 on target, 53% possession, 13 shots, 5 on target, 47% for Guernsey. Passionately, very pleased with the result in your performance, boys. Well done. Everybody responds positively to that one. So that sees us go outright second in the league. Guernsey do still have a game in hand, but given their current form, I don't think... Oh, they might get a win. I don't know who they're playing. It could be Herne Bay. It could be VCD Athletic. It could be Walton and Hersham. So, like, all teams beneath them, they might be able to get that win and jump back above us in the second spot. But we've done all we can. Phenomenal performance. Super proud of that one, to be honest. Guernsey hammered by #United. Charlie Morley absolutely deserves all the credit in the world for his fantastic hat-trick in that match. We're going to tell him as much as well. Superb in front of goal. Well done. He's pleased, which is good. Got perfect mentality at the moment. Parr is looking at Ryan George. He's not going to get Ryan George, so he can look all he wants. What a run. What a great series of performances we're putting together at the moment. We have now won 6 straight. We haven't lost in 10 since that game against Sittingbourne. Looking forward for our December fixtures, we will, as we always do, try and play games around Christmas time. We'll either come back and do Sevenoaks and Bath. Sevenoaks currently sitting 18th in the division, and Bath, who are obviously Vanarama South side, who we have in the FA Trophy first round. Fantastic, massive fixture for us at Coles Park. We'll definitely get that one in. Or we'll come back and do the Bath game first and play Hayes and Yedding. I'm not 100% sure which one. We'll just see how the rest of the fixtures go, and we might come back for the Sevenoaks game and see how we go from there. As always though, guys, I've been Sean. Thank you so much for watching. I really have appreciated all the support that has been all throughout this series. Thanks to everyone that's been liking the videos, watching them, commenting below. I will respond to every comment that I get, I promise. Subscribe to the channel if you want to be kept up to date on future videos. Follow _FM on Twitter if you want to be kept up to date on videos once they're released, and there'll be some other really cool football stuff coming up over the next few weeks on that Twitter. But I will see you guys again in the mixer, and please don't ever forget to hashtag it.